If you've ever sat through a leadership talk, nodded along, and thought, that makes sense, only to get back to work and wonder what that actually looks like in real life, you're not alone. Today's episode gets right to the heart of that gap. We will hear the stories and strategies from two industry veterans who have lived, breathed, and embraced the challenges thrown at them during their careers. What they will share will be an inspiration to young, emerging leaders trying to find their own way. The ISSA Emerging Leaders Program had a presentation where this was all spotlighted. Get ready to enjoy this. Whether you're leading a team, growing a business, or just trying to lead yourself a little better, this conversation will challenge you to think differently about what leadership really requires. Let's dive in. I want to talk about leadership and how it's kind of like learning how to swim. When you're learning how to swim, you could be on the side of the pool. You could have an instructor telling you what to do, the strokes to take, how to hold your breath, how to float on your back, and all those things. And it sounds easy, but when you jump in the water, it's not the same thing. You can flounder, you can have issues. So leadership is kind of like that. It's easy to talk about, and we're going to do that today, to talk about the challenges and the dreams and ambitions, but it can be more of a challenge when you dig into the reality of the day-to-day. Because here we are at this event, and it's great to see all of you here. It's an event. We're all kind of hyped up, and here we are going to talk about all these things today and tomorrow. But what happens Wednesday when you go back? Back into the deep end of the pool, and then you flounder, and you maybe forget what you learned here. Leadership, though, can stick with you, and that's what we're going to talk about with the two professionals here, Amber and Niraj, because they're going to share their story about their journey and what drives them and what helps them to succeed. Even on Wednesday when they're back, or Thursday, some people are a long ways away from home. When they get back, how to make it real and stick with them. So just like learning how to swim, leadership takes a lot of thought, practice, knowledge, and application. So let's get started, and Amber, you're going to go first. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell us about what you do and anything about your personal life you'd like to share.
Sure. Well, as I mentioned, my name is Amber Reyna. I work for a company called Verde Clean, and actually I'm a chief revenue officer and also one of the partners at Verde Clean. And we're an eco-friendly janitorial company. We are the first, and I believe only, janitorial company to ever be invited to the White House by a former president of the United States. We attended a State of the Union address in 2023, and we have been on the Inc. 5000 fastest growing companies list for the last 3 years, and so that's been really fun. I tell everyone that I've been in the industry essentially since I was 12. I started cleaning. My younger brother used to pay me to clean his room, and then I used to, instead of babysitting like all the other kids my age, I would clean my neighbors' houses. So I started cleaning since before I could even have a legitimate job, and then officially in the industry for about 20 years. And that's pretty much it. I am a mother of 3 teenage boys, 13 to 17 years old, and I've been married for 27 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Let's back up to the babysitting and house cleaning, because your brother didn't want to clean his room, but he didn't mind babysitting.
Right.
So he would do something to pay for something he didn't want to do.
Yeah, so my brother would actually babysit and take the money that he made from babysitting to pay me to clean his room.
Entrepreneurs in the family. What's he doing now?
We actually work together.
Oh.
Yeah, he is actually our COO and for Verde, and that happened. We've always talked about working together. He's about 5 years younger than me, and even when we were younger, we always talked about working together. And about when my partners and I started Verde Clean, that was when I finally roped him in.
Shouldn't he have started a daycare center?
He should have. Absolutely.
Now he's doing what he didn't want to do.
Now he's doing what he didn't want to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good story. Niraj, what about you? Tell us your story.
Yeah. So I'm an engineer, and but then I came to the U.S. a long time ago, 1982, and actually got my master's right here at the University of Maryland in College Park. And then I started working managing technical services for a small association of independent business owners involved in the cleaning and restoration industry. And at that time, I had the opportunity to work with carpet manufacturing companies, with fiber manufacturers such as DuPont and Monsanto, BASF Fibers at that time. And then in '89 or so, I joined a franchise company called ServiceMaster. And then I was there for 27 years in various roles, but mainly in the product research and development area, responsible for, at that time, we had, ServiceMaster had over almost 140 different products. So I was responsible for research and development on those products. Then we worked with equipment manufacturers and on kind of customizing and making sure the equipment would suit the needs of our customers. And then 6 years ago, I joined Jan Pro Franchising International. I'm the vice president for sourcing, training, and technical operations there. And really, my role is to set up programs with service companies, product manufacturers, and really to focus on what will be the best value to our franchise network. So I've been in this industry for almost 40 years in various roles, and I've worked with some of you here. I know Chase, Ken Barra, worked with his dad, and several people at ISSC as well.
So what do you love the most about this?
I love the franchise industry, and I've been, right after I joined ServiceMaster, I've kind of been in the franchise industry, and both as on the corporate side mainly, but also as a franchise owner. My wife has a couple of franchises that she owns in a different industry. So I think it's the entrepreneurial spirit of the people who buy a business, and what I can do to help their dream come true.
Now, we know Amber's done this, but let me ask you, have you ever cleaned a toilet?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I do it every week at home.
Not quite what I meant.
But yes, okay. I think that's what the president of our company says, that we're all getting paid because somebody out there is cleaning a toilet at night.
Yeah.
So we have service days where we go out with our franchisees and do what they do.
Okay. Yeah. Well, let's stick with you, Niraj, on this, and it's kind of a head scratcher, a tough question. When you look back on your leadership journey, what moment shaped how you define leading with purpose today? Can you think of a moment?
Yeah. So I think when I think of leading with a purpose, it transcends just the regular aspects of a business, revenue and growth and profitability and shareholder value, etc. Because I feel that those things will happen if you have a bigger purpose in mind. So for me, as I said, I've been in the franchising industry all my life, and when a franchise is given, and it's really not given, it's not, you don't buy a franchise, it's awarded to you, and different franchisors have different criteria that they use to select and award a franchise. But when that is done, that can be a life-changing decision to the person who is getting it. Franchising is, small businesses are the heart of the U.S. economy, and franchising is a big part of it. I think over 3% of GDP is from franchising. Several million jobs are in the franchising industry. So I've seen the difference it can make in the lives of people. So there are different ways to position that, but where I work, we are part of Empower Brands. What we say is we got to focus on championing the cause of the franchisees. So so once I understood that whatever we do is to it has to be focused on the franchise owner. Are we doing something that's making a difference to them, something that will help them? And once you get that, then that becomes the purpose. And then the profitability and the growth, all that falls in place.
All right, thank you. Amber, how about you? Defining moment.
Defining
Was it
moment.
cleaning your brother's room?
No, it was not cleaning my brother's room. Right after college, I got a job with a Devil Wears Prada advertising agency. If you ever saw that movie, there were literally 5 or 6 moments in the movie where almost something identical happened at this company that I worked for. And I remember our creative director was planning this big anniversary trip. And it was to Paris, and he was so excited. Him and his wife always wanted to go to Paris. And they're getting ready to go the following week, and we have this opportunity to do a big pitch. And the CEO and the owner approaches him and says, "You're not going to Paris. You're going to do this pitch. And if you don't do the pitch, then go to Paris and never come back." And I remember, and I'm just new job, just trying to figure things out. And I thought, there's no way he's going to cancel his anniversary trip to Paris to do this pitch. But he does. He cancels the trip. They do the pitch, and we don't even win. And I'm like, oh my goodness, is this what? And then time after time, I would go to different companies, and they were all these like really toxic environments where you're forced to put work before your family. And I thought, and when I saw that happen, I thought, if I'm a boss one day, I'm never going to make somebody choose between their family and work. That to be said, I also knew that work is super important, and the work still needs to get done. And so the way I lead today, we have everybody's cross-trained. There's never just one person that can do the job. There's got to be somebody else who could do the pitch. There's got to be somebody else who could do the proposal. There has to be what if it was him going to the hospital or got in a car accident? It can't be one person that can do the job. And so as we're building our teams, how are we cross-training and making sure that there's more than one person, including yourself, right, that can do the job, because family is more important than work, but the work still has to get done.
That's a good moment.
That was a good
to
moment.
realize that.
Yeah.
And your people value that.
Yeah, and that was very, very early on. And by the way, he also got fired 3 months later. And so he sacrificed a lot for something that didn't matter.
Okay. Amber, we'll stick with you on this. Integrity is talked about as more challenging to practice under pressure. And the pressure's on. Mm-hmm. Can you share a time when doing the right thing as a leader came at a real cost? And when you think back, was it worth it?
Okay, so I think doing the right thing is always the right thing. I know I messed that up. Martin Luther King Jr. It's always the right time. No, what is that?
Mm-hmm. Help her out.
Help me out. What's the quote? It's always
the right time to
do the right thing. Something like that. I'm completely butchering it.
I like the saying, always make the main thing your main thing. Mm-hmm. But
yeah, similar to that. So the first thing that comes to mind is same person, individual, this woman that I worked for. We'll just call her Devil Wears Prada.
We're going to pick on this.
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
Years after I left, and I left within a year, it was just a crazy place. I knew that was not someplace I wanted to stay. And I went on to the next level of my career journey, and I see her at an event. And when I left, they sat me down and gave me this big lecture about how I shouldn't leave, and these are my learning years and not the earning years, and I shouldn't be chasing money, and I should be staying here. And I thought, I don't even want to learn here, let alone earn here. But years later, I'm at an event, and it's this gala, and she sees me, and she finds out where I'm working, and she's like, I knew it. I knew you were going to be somebody successful. And what she didn't know was in my pocket was business cards that when I went to work for this company, I had done one of these things where you're climbing up the ladder and then you go down a little bit to do something that you really want to do. And my title was the exact same title as when I was working for her. And I was a little bit embarrassed by it. And I didn't want, and I thought, I'm not going to tell her that I'm a coordinator still, because when I was a coordinator for her, I was making $24,000 a year. And even though I was making a lot of money here, my title was still coordinator, and I knew she was going to be judgmental about it. And then I thought, oh, no, this is so stupid. Why would she be? No, she's not going to judge me for this. And I thought, for a split second, I'm just going to keep this in my pocket. I'm not going to tell her my title. She knows where I'm working. She thinks it's really cool, and I'm not going to pull this out. And then a second later, I thought, no, that's ridiculous. So I give her the card, and I kid you not, she looks at the card, she looks at me, and she puts her head down. Her glasses fall down to her nose, about this part, on this place on her nose, and she goes, "Coordinator." She didn't judge me. And I thought in that moment, you know what? That's on you, not on me. All work is good. Even if I was making $24,000 a year, which I wasn't, all work is good work. Okay. There's dignity in work. And I was doing something that I loved, and I thought, I'm always going to be proud of what I do. And that carried with me even to janitorial, because when you tell somebody, we tell everybody in our organization, everyone's a janitor. If you think you're too good to be a janitor, then we don't want you working for us. From our CEO to the lowest level employee, we're all janitors.
Exactly.
And so I felt, just being authentic to who you are and having integrity in who you are and being proud of what you do. No matter what you do, if you are working, you should be proud, because there's dignity in work.
Mm-hmm. Good moment. Is there going to be another story about this person?
No, last one, I promise.
It's always good to have examples. Niraj, how about you? What was your moment?
Okay, I think, obviously, as you said, doing the right thing is always the right thing. In a business, sometimes when there are so many people involved, it can be tricky. One of the things that's always scary to a business is product recall. Although I think in the auto industry, that's kind of become pretty common now. But at one time, in one of my roles, we had some disinfectants that we sold. We were not the primary registrant for it, but we were the secondary. And then one evening, we got a call that during inspection of one of the manufacturing facilities, EPA had found a deviation in certain batches that had been made had to be were not good to be used. So we had to make a decision. One, identify where the product was in the channel. Was it in our warehouse? Was it with the customers? Had it been used? And then we made the right decision, which is to inform all the warehouse. Obviously, put a stop to the sales, and then inform all the customers if they had those batch numbers to put them aside. And sometimes there's kind of a negative connotation involved with a company that recalls their products, but ultimately it is a good thing, and it helps, because people don't, no matter what you're doing, there will be problems. And so it's not that you had a problem, it's how you dealt with it that really makes the difference. So we didn't lose any business. There was no negative impact at all. So we did the right thing, and it helped.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of the same theme in a way.
Yeah.
Honesty, do the right thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Very nice. Niraj, sticking with you on this, how do you make sure your vision as a leader actually translate into daily decisions for your teams, not just the big picture that most focus on?
Yeah, I think again, sometimes it's just the golden rule: do unto others what you want to do to you, done to you, and it's also it's easy to say, okay, or to ask your employees or your franchise owners to be available 24/7. But are you available 24/7, right? Another thing that I'm a big believer is, speed of response. And at JanPro, we have, kind of an unusual warranty. We tell customers that if there's a complaint, we will get back to them within 1 hour. So if we are asking, or if we are giving a commitment that our franchisees will get back to their customers in an hour,
someone's calling your company right now.
Yeah. Are we? Well, this is half hour, right?
So it's half
so
hour.
Are we doing the same thing? And same with email responses, just within our own, just so if you're asking people to be responsive, are we being responsive? So it's once you start practicing what you are preaching, I think that makes a big difference.
Okay. Yeah. And Amber, how about you?
Never, ever, ever let your mission, vision, and values die on a poster. That's the biggest thing. So for us, we have a vision for the company, and you might have a vision for your team or even for yourself. And maybe it's not on a poster, maybe it's something you just wrote down. But for me, I'll just speak from our experience at Verde. We have a very clear vision, mission, and values. It is integrated into every single thing that we do. We have a 5-year strategic plan. It's all throughout there. They're in my one-on-ones with my team. We go through we have 4 values, and we talk about those 4 values on my one-on-ones on a monthly basis. We talk about them on our town halls. We point it out when we see people living those values or carrying out our mission as we're out in the field or working with our team members. We'll pause when we see something and we'll say, that's our value of awesomeness. That's our value of social impact. Great job. So I think integrating whatever your mission is, again, as an organization, as an individual, or as a manager, and making sure that it's known, that it's talked about, and it's integrated into everything that you do.
Nice. We're almost out of time, but we have one more official question. And Amber, we'll go to you on this. As a leader, and everyone here is in some kind of leadership role, how do you stay grounded with what's reality out there, with your team that's on the front line, so you can talk to them and speak the same language?
Yeah, so good. I think hopefully you'll never get disconnected from reality. And the only way to do that is to be with your teams on the ground level. And one thing I always say, don't ever, jump the line in terms of, if you see somebody who's not doing the right thing, I would never approach somebody that's not my direct report to say, oh, you're not doing the figure 8 mopping right, or you're not doing this right. You would obviously want to tell their manager or somebody closer to you to retrain or recoach. But look for opportunities to find people doing something right. Like, hey, everybody, look at this. Look at what this person is doing. This is what a janitorial cart should look like. This is what, or whatever it is, wherever you're working, right? Find opportunities to point out what people are doing correctly, and never. There was just really quickly, I remember watching. It was an Undercover Boss. Do you guys remember when Undercover Boss? And people would go and they would discover these crazy things. There was a janitorial company, and they discovered that women don't like to wear dresses when they're cleaning. Duh. And I'm like, wow, it took you to go on the show to figure that out. That is a leader that wasn't on the ground floor with their teams, talking to their teams, asking questions. And really, as a leader, that's what we should be doing, is asking questions and finding out what the field needs from us as leaders. And so never disconnect yourself from the front line of your organization. I mean, never, yeah.
Good advice. Thank you. Niraj, last word. What do you do to stay connected?
Yeah, I think connection is important at all the different levels, with your team, with your leadership, and with your customers. Sometimes it's easier to stay connected with your teams. You can have weekly meetings, you can have, face-to-face meetings, but with customers, it takes more effort because they are across the country sometimes. But that's very critical. So it's hard to achieve that on a phone or on a web call. So you really have to go and make some visits, and not just talk to. You got to talk to the people who are actually in the front line, as you said, because that's how you find out. And sometimes you should be out doing what the frontline people are doing. That will give you, if you talk to the right people, they will often reveal what the problem is and also what the solution is. So,
Good final words.